What's up, everybody? This is Pete with Crunch Time Coaching, just chilling in my tennis office, and thought that I would come on live and see if any of you are out there on this beautiful tennis day and do a lesson for you, a lesson that I'm calling Three Keys to Consistency. We're going to have a course come out here in hopefully August that is all about helping players become more consistent. The name of the course is called Consistency, Stop Missing for No Reason at All. Do you guys like that title? I personally like that title. I think it's a pretty good one. And I find that as I've really been going through this course, as you're coming on, thank you for coming on. Say hello. Let me know where you're from, and let me know what is your most inconsistent shot. What shot do you have the most trouble with, or is there a certain part of the game that drives you nuts? Because we are making a new course called Consistency, Stop Missing for No Reason at All. And I find that a lot of people miss tennis shots for zero reason. And they even admit it. They're like, well, how can I miss that shot? I can't believe I missed that. So today's lesson is all about helping you learn three keys to become a more consistent tennis player. And I think you're really going to like it. And I think it's going to make a lot of sense. I got my racket, I got my ball, I'm all set. If you have any questions as we go through this, make sure you ask questions, you comment, you like the video, you share it with your tennis buddies so that we can all get better at tennis. And I just find that I just come on live lots of times because it's fun. We have a small group. We can have a really interactive lesson, and I can give you the most value. So let's go through it. I'm going to go through key number one to becoming a more consistent tennis player, and you're going to get to see my childlike handwriting. And key number one is the technique, okay? If you want to be a consistent player, you have to have a certain level of technique, or you have to be very, very simple and to the point with your contact, okay? So I find that there's two types of players who can keep a lot of balls in play. Number one is the dinker, okay? The dinker, someone who just taps the ball, can keep the ball in play because their stroke, even though it looks amateurish and it isn't impressive, people who keep a lot of balls in play, who just tap it, well, it's a very efficient stroke. They're basically here, and all they got to do is meet the ball in the strings, and if they tap it and there's not a lot of momentum in it, the ball is going to go in most of the time, and they're going to be a very consistent player. And just the mere fact of the ball going over the net and in the court, they're going to win a lot of matches because a lot of people can't make many shots in a row. And in fact, even on the pro tour, there's a guy, Craig O'Shaughnessy, who says that the average rally on the professional tour is 4 shots or less. And the difference between the pros, though, and recreational players is the 4 shots. It's usually a forcing shot, that makes the mistake. Where at the recreational player level, I think he says it's 3 shots or less. And lots of times that mistake just comes from an unforced error, a shot that should not be missed. And especially those people studying online instruction, what I find is that they try and have more of an advanced technique, and they want to swing and they want to have racket head speed. And the number one reason that they miss is there's some inefficiency in their stroke. There's some leak in their stroke that causes them to have poor racket head awareness, meaning that if they're trying to hit a volley, they're not aware that when they hit a volley here that it's going to go in, but if the ball drops at the level, if they don't make a subtle change, they're going to miss that volley. Does that make sense? Or when they're going to swing through and they're trying to hit topspin, they're not aware at contact that their string just opens up a little bit. So if you're somebody out there who doesn't really just want to tap the ball in play, but you want to really stroke the ball in play, you want to look like your favorite pros on television, you've got to spend even more time on technique than the players who just go out there and can bop the ball over the net, because what they're doing is a lot easier to do. Now, once you learn how to really master the technique, then you can become an aggressive, consistent player, which is probably the most fun. Does that make sense? Guys, if you're watching this, certainly feel free to ask questions. Let me know, what are some of the things that you struggle with on the tennis court. Are you a consistent player, or do you struggle with consistency, and do you struggle throughout the whole match, or is there certain stages of the match where you figure that you tend to go off the rails a little bit and make more mistakes than normal, and why do you think that is happening? If you're watching this, certainly give this video a like and a thumbs up. So that's key number one, is if you want to be a consistent player and you just don't want to tap the ball, you really do need to get the next level of your technique. You have to get your technique from being good, better than, right now your stroke might look better than most of the players at your club, but it still has inefficiencies that you're not aware of that's making you miss shots. Does that make sense? So that's number one. All right. Key number two is you got to be your own tennis doctor. And I think that this is a big one. Lots of people who I give lessons to, I will ask them, I will say, they will miss a shot. They will miss a shot. And often they'll come back week after week and they'll miss consistency. Hugh says consistency is always harder when you're trying to force shots against the dinker. That's true. So when you're having to create your own pace, it's hard to be consistent. And we'll go. I'm gonna put this. I'm gonna bottle that comment over here, and maybe we'll address it a little later, because that's a very important point you made there. But I do want to come back to number two, and you can see my childlike writing. 3 keys to consistency is you have to learn to be your own tennis doctor. Okay, rather than trying to develop a really nice looking stroke. While you're doing that, you have to also be aware of why you're missing the shot. Many people, when they're playing, they'll miss shots. They'll continue to miss the same shot, and they'll just get angry at themselves. They'll say to themselves, hit the ball harder, go for it. You suck. Like, how could you miss that? All these kind of things that are natural to think, but they're not helping you solve your own problem. The really good players, as soon as they miss the shot, let's say I am going to swing and I'm going to miss a shot wide over there. Well, rather than tell myself I suck, or it's no fair, why did I miss that shot, or I don't know why I missed that shot, I know right away when I see my shot go wide that my shoulders, especially usually the lead shoulder, has opened up too early. So rather than get mad at myself and say to myself, how could I miss that shot, without really giving a thought, I want you to think more like you're a doctor and you're diagnosing your own problems, and you're more removed from your own error, which will be a big key for you to become a better player. Because the more you can remove your own emotions from your mistake and just observe why you missed, and not think of a million reasons why you missed. Lots of times when you miss a shot, you might do 3 or 4 things correctly and only one little tiny thing wrong. So let's say I missed that shot and it goes wide. I might say, wow, that shot felt really good. That I hit that well and I still missed it wide. And so my shoulders just opened up just a hair too early. So the next time I'm in the same part of the court, I see the same type of spin coming, I am going to be like a computer and I'm going to download that data. That's what computers are really, so well known for, that they can do much better than, hello from California, how are you doing? At Mexico, nice. So anyway, I just want to complete this thought. The more that you can think like a computer. Computers, where are they really great at? They're great at, overwriting problems. As soon as there's a problem, they can fix it, and they don't get emotional, and they just download the data, and then they never make that mistake again. That's if we can get more like a computer, to where we miss a shot, we download the data, we store it, and so the next time we see that same situation, we know the minor adjustment to make, and we just do it, then you're going to become a more consistent player. The more you're missing shots in different areas of the court, and you're just thinking, I'm missing shots all over the place, I stink, and you're not really looking at analyzing quickly, coming up with the one mistake. There's not, you haven't lost your game. You haven't lost your stroke. It's not that you don't have a backhand. These are all the things that people think in their mind. It's that you're not picking up the one little thing you did wrong, realizing the 3 or 4 things you did right, and then just correcting that one little thing the next time you see the ball. And it's not that you have to overthink it. You don't need, I don't want you to overthink and overanalyze when you become a tennis doctor. I want you to just observe yourself, download the data of why you missed a shot. It's always a very simple reason why you miss. Thank you for the thumbs up. It's always a very simple reason why you miss, and then just correct that. And you just continue to play your whole match. And when you do that, you're never going to play a perfect match, okay? Thank you. 2 thumbs up. Thank you. You're never going to play a perfect match. I want you to get that. You want to be like a really good surfer who can go on a long ride. They can ride the wave out and eventually they fall off. And then what happens after that is they can as soon as they fall off the one wave, they can get back up on another wave and they can have another streak. The longer you can sustain streaks in tennis before you miss and then continue to play really well, that's how you're going to become a really good tennis player. What happens to too many players is they'll go on a decent streak, they'll miss one shot, and then they'll miss another. Are still there. Give me a thumbs up if you're still with me. Sorry, that's the bad part about going live, is that sometimes you get knocked offline. But if you're still there and you're still with me, great. So we were talking about being your own tennis doctor, downloading information. That's key number 2 to being consistent. And so that's the 2 points I wanted to make. So number 1, we're going to have 3 points. Number 1, consistency online. Consistency online is tough. That's right. Consistency online is very tough. Thank you for hanging out with me. So we got 3 keys to consistency. Number 1 is you got to get your technique in order. You got to get your technique up. Number 2 is you got to become your own tennis doctor. You just got to analyze problems, not get emotional about it, and then clean up the mistake the next time you see it. And it's always going to be a very simple correction. And number 3, and maybe the hardest to do, and kind of goes in line with number 2, is forget about it. Hey, forget about it. You know what I'm saying? You just got to forget about your mistakes. I listened to an interview with Rick Macci, and he said, do you want to know what the difference is between good players and great players? Because Rick Macci, if you don't know who he is, he's coached the Williams sisters. He's coached Jennifer Capriati. He's coached Andy Roddick. He's coached Maria Sharapova. He's coached Vince Spadea, Mary Pierce. So he's coached some great tennis players. And pretty much everybody who's a junior who goes to him is a high performer. And what he noticed the difference is the really great players have amnesia. He was saying, like, he made a situation up where he said, I don't think that if somebody aces you 3 times in a row that you're going to be a very confident player. He says your self-confidence is going to start to go down. You're going to start to play more conservative. You're going to think about changing your court position. You're going to be maybe more on your heels. And he said that the great players, they have that amnesia to where someone can be crushing them for a couple of games and they still have the confidence to stay in there and go for their shots. They can miss a couple shots down the line, and then all of a sudden when it's break point or match point, that they still go for it under pressure situations, and they don't let past experiences get in the way with the execution of the next shot, that they can really see each individual ball as a new opportunity, to where so many times when we're playing, we see this ball coming and we think about what happened in the past when we made contact with this ball, and we tend to only think about the negative things, not the positive things that have happened in the past. And we're thinking about these negative things as our racket is approaching the ball, and we start freaking out just before contact. Let me know how, I will raise my hand and say I've certainly done it. raise your hand, give us a thumbs up, comment if that has happened to you, or just before you get to that ball, you kind of freak out and you do like a little tweak in your stroke, and it's like a crutch you use to help yourself make the shot, and it's actually the thing that ends up making you miss the shot. Where the great players, they approach that ball, they don't worry about a shot they missed a couple of games ago. They see it, they maybe make a little adjustment in their mind real quick of what they need to correct it, and then boom, they go right through it, they crush it, they win the match, they hold up the trophy. They're the ones that consistently win these big matches. Normally a slow midcourt ball, so much more overthinking it. That's right, Hugh. Yeah. So I mean, so many people overthink the slow midcourt balls, and so Hugh has said a couple times about playing slow balls, playing dinkers, and there's a couple things that really go into that. Number one, it comes back to key number one. The slow balls, and especially the midcourt balls, they're shots that really need to be respected. They're not as easy as you think they would be. For example, myself, I'm a pretty good player. I was number one in the state. I was a nationally ranked junior. I played Division I college tennis. I teach tennis. So I'm pretty good overall. But I wouldn't certainly right now classify myself as a great player. I teach, I don't play. So if I'm down 5, if I happen to go out there and play a match and I'm down 5-6 in a match and I have a short ball, I haven't really hit enough balls right now to go up to that ball and just confidently crush it. I might choose to chip it in because I know that that's within my skill set, even if I'm not playing a lot. The short ball that's slow, that has no pace, requires a lot of timing. The pros crush it and make us feel like we should be able to do that every time because they're playing every single day. Their timing is like a high performance sports car to where it is perfect. It's perfection. So when they see that little short ball, they come up, they crush it, they don't hesitate because they practice it every day in practice. They're playing matches consistently. They're seeing that ball a lot. Where to get up to a short ball that's just sitting there, for somebody who's not practicing, who's more of a weekend warrior, who's not taking a lot of lessons, who's got technique that isn't perfect, what it takes to get up to that short ball is, first of all, you got to recognize it like that. You got to see it right away, and you got to get up to it early, and your preparation has to be short and early, and your timing has got to be there. Now, if you're not doing all of that, and your footwork's got to be flawless, if you're not doing all that, you're going to miss short dink balls. You're going to have trouble with pushers. So rather than put all the pressure on yourself to make a fantastic shot, think about what shot can I make consistently that's going to put a lot of pressure on my opponent, that's going to make them come up with a skillful shot. So if I'm playing a pusher and I get a short ball and it's a big pressure point, rather than think about crushing it, I might run up to it and practice a short little angle slice, bringing a pusher who does not like to come forward, doesn't like to get into a hand-to-hand combat with somebody like me who likes volleys. I might hit that ball short on purpose, slice it, come on in, and put away the next ball. Something that I know I can make consistently, rather than just go, well, I'm just going to come up here and blow the pusher off the court because it's a short ball and I have better technique and I should make them pay for their bad shots. So there you go, guys. There are your 3 keys to consistency. We're going to come out with a consistency course in August, so be looking for that. I'm going to be putting out a number of videos, probably not in this video because we're live, but I'm going to be putting out a number of links to where you can sign up for free training. So be looking on more of our Crunch Time coaching videos. So if you would like to be more consistent and you haven't subscribed yet to our channel, make sure you subscribe today so you can get on our email list and you can get an email when it is time for us to go live with our free training on our consistency course. And if you want to dive deeper, of course, we're making a full course on it. So appreciate hanging out with you guys. Like this, comment, subscribe, and share the video so other tennis buddies can watch this and learn. Take care. This is Pete from Crunch Time Coaching, signing off.